Hello and welcome to Mumbai Se Manchester. My name is Nikhil, and today's video is going to be a new segment where we recap the games of last week. We'll be reviewing the Southampton game where we smashed the Saints for 9 goals and the disappointing draw against Everton. Today we have a very special guest, a die-hard United fan, my friend Sushil Birla. Here's the chat we had about the week. But before we dive in, do make sure to hit the like button and do subscribe as 60% of our viewers are not doing so.
हाँ तो वही टॉकिंग अबाउट द एवर्टन गेम 3-3 फिनिश हुआ एंड व्हाट डू यू थिंक क्या हाउ इम्पोर्टेंट वाज दिस गेम डेफिनेटली 2 पॉइंट्स ड्रॉप तो क्या लगता है तेरे को इन जनरल
First of all, considering the importance of the game in light of the Liverpool Man City game happening today, this was a fabulous opportunity for us to pile on some pressure on them. But unfortunately, and with the 9-0 Southampton win, with the 2-0 start, I think we were well on our way. But again, I would say that somewhere or the other, a point lost, 2 points lost, I would blame it again down to the defending. So, of course, Everton is no easy opponent, but I believe they've never won here for many years. Yeah. And it was with the lead that we got, we should have definitely won the game.
Right. Statistically, they haven't won like this was the 18th game that they have not won at Old Trafford, consecutive 18th game. So yeah, going 2-0 up and then not capitalizing on that was really disappointing. And currently, the way we are controlling the game, that is another gear that we have hit. Obviously, we still have a long way to go, like what Liverpool or City did a couple of seasons ago, right? But when you see at least United play in attack with Bruno, Pogba, and all these guys, right? Even McTominay, Fred having good ball control, they can move the ball easily now, much more comfortably unlike they used to do earlier. वो देख के तो ऐसे ही लगा कि after going 2-0 up, there was no chance, right? Everton was sitting so deep. I don't know why we gave them that chance.
Even the first goal that we lost, it should have been some sort of resilience. I wouldn't particularly blame De Gea for it. Maybe the defenders ahead of him, but we should have managed to clear it. We should not have given Doucouré that chance. The second goal, I think it's fabulous piece of skill from James, but even again, we shouldn't have let the door open. You right. Find that with all these, with Liverpool, with City, that once they go ahead, you simply don't get the opportunity to claw back into the game like Everton did yesterday.
Right. And yeah, clearly, you mentioned Liverpool City, Fergie sides wouldn't allow an opponent to really get back, right? When we used to win the title every other season or practically every season, we never allowed the opponent, especially after going 2-0 up. And at Old Trafford, there was no way that could happen.
This season, again, we've played better away than at home. Maybe the fans not being in the stadium could play a role there, but I frankly, with the 9-0 demolition of Southampton just a few days ago, we should not have had. We should have basically controlled the game after the 2-0 lead that we had.
Yeah, definitely, and it's looked like it. Like the first 15 minutes of that Everton game, we were very lethargic, I would say. We were not moving the ball quickly. We were choosing simple passes. But after that 15 or so minutes, I think Mike Phelan came into the technical area. He started shouting something to get the boys going. And then it was free-flowing. We were literally dominating. Even Calvert-Lewin was well within their own half. Right? Even he was sitting deep. Okay, when we get a chance, we get a chance. But they were afraid of what we were trying to do with the ball. And it showed in the first two goals as well. The first goal where Mason crossed from the left side for Cavani to head it, like solid header. But again, Mason was not pressurized. They know that he has a sweet left foot, and
Correct.
he could, like, you saw him do that couple of times, and Michael Keane and Holgate
Was it a
missed that
Mason
header.
Green? I think it was a Rashford cross, no, from the right.
Oh, sorry. So actually, Mason Greenwood tried something of that type earlier, but yeah, you are right.
Correct.
Rashford
Correct.
had that pinpoint cross in there. But both occasions, both of two or three of those occasions, none of the Everton midfielders or defenders pressurized either of these players. So they were
Yes.
giving us the free license, like go ahead, try to take shots. Don't like they didn't really. They were afraid in a way to some extent.
Yeah, we had, I believe, something upwards of 60% possession in the game.
Mhm.
We had clearly at least more than double the chances created. We simply should not have. And I somewhere or the other, I tend to blame the centre backs for this, because we don't know. They are so inconsistent that there would be a game when Lindelof will play brilliant, but there will be some when they are just looking at each other with
Right.
their, with their hands on their hips, trying to look at each other for who to blame, or somebody else should take care of their problems. Which, in my opinion, isn't something that we should suffer so much. Maybe is Bai the answer to the centre back pairing? I am not sure, but that's one definitely area of weakness that I think we should look to improve in some way or the other.
So if I have to choose between Lindelof and Maguire, who would you like to upgrade on?
I definitely think Lindelof, because primarily Maguire brings leadership quality to the team. Also, his presence in the box when we have our corners.
Right.
So those are two things where Maguire clearly has an edge.
Mhm.
I That's why I definitely think we need to change, do something about this problem of Lindelof. Is he a good player? Definitely, he's a good player. He should be a part of the squad, but maybe not play week in, week out for us, at least in some important games like these.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, yesterday and definitely like the first, even like both goals, I think the defenders are the ones who are like manning the people, right? Our own people. You're communicating, you're shouting them to pressure or like make runs so that shots are not taken. It was also again seen in that second goal. Like James Rodriguez was awful in the first like 50 plus minutes because
Mhm.
Ancelotti was ready to substitute him. Ancelotti at
Mm.
that point wanted to bring in Gylfi Sigurdsson, and he just let James have a few more minutes because obviously during halftime he gave him some kind of talk or he gave him an earful. So he thought, okay, let's give him a few more minutes, and all it needed was one solid shot at the goal, and he scored from
Correct.
there. So and yeah, like one of our midfielders should have definitely blocked that, like or at least pressurized him to take like a violent shot, which would have gone haywire. But yeah, nobody did that. So yeah, and third goal, you can imagine like it was pretty much like it was poor management. Like even around that 80 plus minutes time frame, it suddenly seemed like okay, now we are going to close it out. But then as soon as we would give away the ball for a bit, Everton would pounce and try to attack us. And overall, Everton didn't have more than I think they scored three goals and they probably just had three chances. They didn't have much. They didn't have
Yes.
much at all in the entire game. It, so yeah, I feel this was at least in my opinion. And before I actually share that, who do you think? Like you did mention defenders, but would you blame Ole for some of it for these points dropped, or would you say is it players or a
Um,
mix of both?
I see. The third goal is frankly like a lottery. It was literally 35 yards away from goal from where the free kick came in. And these things, can you really predict the way it will end up? You can't. But sometimes these things will go our way, sometimes they won't.
Right.
But at least the first goal is where I really think we should have done better. De
Mhm.
Gea did get a hand to it, uh, and we should have had someone clear it right away. Could De Gea have also palmed it away further or something like that? Because it wasn't like he was at full stretch or something. It was within his control. But
Right.
I think we just let the door open. And frankly, these are the sort of games that really will count in the end. And
Right.
the winners will definitely not lose points in this way that we did. So
Right.
I wouldn't particularly blame Ole because you know there isn't any other you cannot plan for a mistake, so
Right.
he had the right team on paper. He played them. We were doing well with the 2-0, but then something like this happens and you lose your tempo. So now again, I think City have 2 games in hand with, I think, what, 3 points ahead.
City are well ahead. So City at the moment are at 20, have played 21 games. We have played 23. They are at
Yes.
47, 2 points ahead, as you said. But they have 2 games in hand, and they'll play
2 games
Liverpool
in
today,
hand.
who are not so much in form. And I'm at least as a neutral, I will feel that hey, City is going to probably knock Liverpool out today. Like they are going to literally smash them probably. But yeah, like even if they draw today's game, take that as another point, and the next game they are bound to win. Like I think next they play after Liverpool. Let me check. I think it is actually it's Tottenham at home. Again, Tottenham are horrible currently. They are playing without Kane. They are lost.
No,
So
Kane has started today, so
Kane
he
has
is back.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Now imagine the best case scenario for United if Liverpool managed to beat City,
Hmm.
uh, and if Spurs manage to hold them, or something like that, because Spurs
Right.
City games have also been quite a roller coaster.
Right.
We could still be within reach, but this team still in some way doesn't seem convincing enough to me
Right.
to be champions. So we have pretty much solved the problems up front. We have managed to get the creativity, managed to find a system in which Bruno and Pogba can play together.
Right.
Luke Shaw has been playing really well from the back. McTominay and Fred seem to hold back, or Matic when he comes in seem to hold back the line. So going ahead, maybe Cavani is a temporary solution, but with Rashford, with Martial, with Greenwood, all those things seem positive. Even on the right with Wan Bissaka's defending, which fair enough to say that previously with Valencia, maybe with other players like Rafael or even Darmian, we weren't really sure of our right defense. The only thing where we seem to lack is still the centre back pairing, which I hope they do strengthen. And this season, frankly, I would say that we weren't even expecting United to win. The
Right.
fact that they have given us a little bit of hope is itself a very positive thing.
Right.
And maybe we are expecting too much from them in this season. So we let's hope that the team is ready for next season, and we are really a strong contender to fight for the title.
Right, right. No, I completely agree. Like, yeah, yeah, exactly. Like last season, we barely managed to get into top four. Like it was last day decided who is going to go, Leicester, Chelsea, or United. And if considering today the way we are playing, the style of play has improved as well. We are playing more progressive football. We are not this season. We are not just a counter-attacking team. We can
Yes.
take the game. Like we showed that in the Liverpool FA Cup game. We showed that even to some extent the way Man City played against us. Man City didn't go all out in that Premier League game. They did like they were cautious of what they were like, what their opponent could actually offer. So yeah, I completely agree. And also I wanted to bring up the next fixture. So until now, United were playing at least 2 games every week, right? So I'm just looking at the fixtures that happen that happen from here on. So after the FA Cup game on Tuesday, we then start playing like 2 games a week. We have our Sunday game on 14th against West Brom away. Then we have the Europa League, and then we have again Sunday. So we go back to the normal schedule where you're just playing like 2 games a week. Unfortunately, you play the Europa game on Thursday. So every team is going to have a similar schedule now, except like City, who might have to play like another extra game in one of those weeks. So yeah, like these points were important. Had we like not lost those 2 points, they would have been super vital in the run. At least keep up with that chasing pack, and uh, like we would have ensured that they were like still looking over their shoulder, like are they going to jump over us suddenly, right? Are they going to take over? So yeah, I feel those were really something the players could have really avoided. 2 points that were dropped yesterday. uh, Talking about the Southampton game, 9-0 loss. What do you think? Uh, like exactly after a 9-0 loss, I guess there's nothing a whole lot to say, but more than like other than
You have to,
rejoicing.
I would differ. I would say, if you remember Southampton earlier in the season, where we barely won with Cavani in stoppage time. Southampton aren't a squad which simply rolls over. So 9-0 is definitely creditable. You will have these nights where everything goes your way. Every
Yeah.
loose ball will come your way. Everything, you are simply charmed that day that you will come what may. We convincingly won. We had Dan James get on the score sheet. We had Van Bissaka get on the score sheet. Everybody played
Right.
well.
Right.
So that game was the one which gave us hope that we could definitely play like champions. uh, and the 2-0 again here till thus far till the whatever the till halftime showed that we were in the right direction. After that, what went wrong, I just don't know. Somewhere or the other, the levels dropped or errors crept in, which uh, could have been avoided. But 9-0 was fabulous. You woke up with a broad grin on your face, and then 3-0 was just one of those, oh my god, you slap your forehead, and that's your luck. So
Yeah, yeah. I was actually I was slightly afraid going into that Southampton game, because Southampton, even though they have been a bit off after, I think Westergaard has been injured, their defense has been a bit leaky. But Armstrong's free kick abilities and the way they press, right? They to some extent, for a mid-table team, I would say they play like Liverpool. I think that German philosophy is behind the way they kind of attack, right?
oh
And I
yes.
was afraid going into that game that we won the last one 3-2, and I was thinking, okay, our players are fatigued and all, and maybe Southampton will capitalize and we might concede goals. We were lucky to get that red card in that second minute, right? And it showed like what a red card could do, right? After that Tottenham loss, every pundit literally, like even as a fan, like I was cribbing, I was like literally cursing the players, but it showed what a red card could do so early in the game. Like a good
Of
team
course,
like Southampton couldn't do
there's
much.
no yes, there's no doubt that played a massive role. But would we still have won with 11 on 11? I think we would have. So I would say that, going back a few years to Fergie's time, these were games that you wouldn't even consider. You would
Right,
simply say these are things which we will just get out of the way easily.
right.
Uh, of course, over the years, it's credit to Southampton that we are considering them as such quality opposition now, with uh, Danny Ings, James Ward-Prowse, all of these guys playing so well. But uh, are we headed in the right direction? I definitely think we are. At least the hopelessness that we had in Van Gaal's time, with all the backward passes, the sideways passes, with absolutely nothing going forward.
Right.
Those things, at least, I think, are well behind us now. We have the right philosophy, we have the right attitude. So, with Bruno playing fabulous, second goal from yesterday's game reminded me of the Cantona goal.
Right.
So that was something which was brilliant to watch. But alas, some days are not yours, I guess.
Right. Right. Yeah. Completely agree. Yeah. Some days you just can't like help certain things. So let's see next games. I know we are going into the Europa League soon. I just wanted to get a quick opinion here. How important is Europa League for you this season, especially? And if whether it's important or not important, what kind of team would you like to see for Europa?
Frankly, for me, every tournament you are in should be important. You are Manchester United. You have to have the depth of squad to play these games also with a very very strong team. So irrespective of whether we have a strong team or not, the bench is strong enough to play these games. We have Dan James, who hasn't played many games. We have Martial, who has been on benched for so many games. We have Mata still playing well.
Mhm.
Uh, so we have a strong, you know, uh, B team, if you would say. But in my opinion, with us not and Europe, come what may, whether it's the Europa League or not, it's prestigious enough for me to win. Why should we play a weak team there? With the league, you want to play every game to win. So I would definitely think he should play all the strong players that he has, irrespective of whether we would have won at Everton or drawn at Everton, or what happens at Liverpool, Man City. Doesn't really matter to me.
Hmm.
Europa League, it's an incredibly valuable trophy to have. Why should we not play to win? We should.
Right. But traditionally you have seen like the thing is this season, and this is just my opinion, is this season has been tough, right? Where like unlike other seasons or the previous seasons, we didn't play like 2 or 3 games a week. And the players are almost like just coming to that phase where now they will transition to just 2 games a week. And Europa games are on Thursday. Sometimes you have to play a game on Saturday. Would you, as a fan, uh, be happy if you probably win the European League and probably barely make the top four or miss the top four, actually, to say? Or would you like to see us stay close to the to say Man City, or even like say I hope Liverpool still lose more games and they fall down the list, but say chasing staying close to Man City, right, at the end of the day, and probably not giving so much importance to Europa League. I'm thinking on those lines. Like at the moment, the players might be fatigued, and maybe that is what we should do, because
No,
keeping
I would,
up with
you
City
know,
might be more important.
so frankly, the way I look at it, you tell me, if we were not knocked out of the Champions League,
Mhm.
would this thought even come to our mind? It
I don't
wouldn't,
think
right?
so. No, it wouldn't. Because,
Correct.
yeah, I think my bias comes from Europa League is not that great of a cup to win. We already
I,
did, and we
you know,
struggled last time, right? With obviously we didn't have the players with the same level of experience, and obviously not the same manager. So maybe yeah, I'm wrong here, but yeah.
no, secondly, the fact that you talk about squad depth. Now, you tell me, Man City today don't have Aguero. They have lost Silva just this season. Uh, in spite of this, they are challenging in Europe. They are challenging in the Premier League. So, what is different with Man City, which is not? That's the attitude to have, in my opinion. That
Right.
uh, irrespective of what game you are playing, you have to give it your all. You have a pretty strong bench. You have invested so much into the team, and we have a strong enough competition for places, that we should not consider any game sort of a I would say maybe a practice match or something like that, or give it a light sort of planning. In my opinion, we have to win, come what may, whether it's the Europa League or whether you're playing any other team over the weekend.
But
So
I'll ask you, would you even choose the option of giving, say, someone like a Mata or Brandon Williams, Tuan Zibi, like the opportunity? Like, obviously, they are not
of
starting the
course,
games for us today. Would
of
you
course.
say going into that Sociedad game, right, in couple of less than a couple of 2 weeks actually? Would you start with them? I heard you saying that you will start with the strongest team. So are you saying you will probably start, if fit, exactly the same team that started against Everton? Would you go with that?
Uh,
Or you
you
will
know,
exploit your depth?
of course, I would exploit my depth. Maybe not change every position to the second string, but is there any harm in playing Martial? Of course not. That will give rest to Cavani. Is
Mhm.
there any harm in playing Mata in place of possibly Greenwood? It might end up giving them whatever rest is required. We have Dan James who can play on the left. You can have a bench with all the first team players playing, sitting on the bench, and possibly if needed they come and play. But
Right.
you have, see, the way I look at it is, either you put complete confidence in this team, in your second team, or else you need to look at changes. You have signed them with some certain confidence, certain plans. There are except Mata and possibly Matic, we have a pretty young squad of second string players. And does Liverpool have this sort of depth? They don't,
Yeah.
frankly. Possibly apart from Man City, and I can't think of anybody else who has the sort of depth, or have a Martial sitting on the bench,
Right.
uh, which we do. So we have this luxury. So I believe we should have the confidence in these players that they will play well, in my opinion.
Yeah. One thing I didn't mention earlier. Pogba got injured yesterday, and
Hmm.
I'm really hoping that he stays. Like uh, yesterday, it seemed like with Pogba on the pitch along with Bruno, that was one of the major reasons. Like Everton were afraid. Like they literally sat back as soon as Pogba was replaced. Fred came in. They got some confidence, saying, "Okay, we don't have an opponent with an additional opponent with super ball playing ability." So let's see, like how that even affects some of these things like Europa and upcoming games that we would be seeing. So
Yeah, you talk about Pogba. The way I look at it, you have a Van der Beek on the bench.
yeah.
Uh, so this gives him an opportunity to step into the first team and prove his mettle, right?
Right.
All of us believe that he has fantastic skills. Just that the first team was playing so well that he wasn't getting the opportunity to play. Now this
Right.
is his opportunity. So
Right.
if he's good enough, he has to prove and give us the results that we want. And
Right.
I'm sure he will. So I have enough confidence in this team. Let's see, uh, what we do. Frankly, I would uh, look at it in a way that you need someone like a Bruno to pull the strings, uh, the way possibly a De Bruyne does in a City setup, where whether it's the Champions League, whether it's the Premier League, you have him playing pretty much week in, week out. It doesn't matter whether there are 3 games a week or 2 games a week. He
Right.
is playing. He is their talisman. So someone like a Bruno has the ability and the skill and the leadership to want to do that. So I think we will do well. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Hoping that we continue this form that we are in, and yeah, really, let's see what happens. I'm really hoping Liverpool, City. What would be your
I
preference?
really hope
What do you
Liverpool.
hope?
today. I'm going to be cheering for them today. And Liverpool have a tendency to turn up for the big game. So I think Man City should be in for a shock. The past couple of games also they have had streaky wins, 1-0, 2-0 with, and we all know Jesus isn't a reliable striker. So there is every chance, and Liverpool's playing at home, I believe. So I'm going to be cheering for them today. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, my my heart hopes that Liverpool win today because of the table. But yeah, I happen to bench Salah in my FPL team. So
Oh,
I'm okay to take the FPL hit.
That's it from us, guys. Do let us know what you think about the video in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Bye.